What is up, guys, and welcome to a new Zero Reviews. So as you can see by the title, this isn't a typical Zero Reviews because not only will we be doing our normal routine review of the figures, we will also be providing at the end of this video some kind of tips that you can do for these figures, some changes you can do to kind of take these figures to the next level. But with that being said, the two figures that we'll be checking out in today's video are none other than D4C and Funny Valentine. Now, you may be asking, what's up with the color alternates? Why are they in this colorway than their traditional pink and blue and Funny Valentine's white and blonde? Well, yeah, that's why.
Hell no! Hell no!
The price tag for the original releases of Funny Valentine and D4C are ridiculous. So definitely wasn't going to pay that. Got these for a great deal on AliExpress, actually. So I'll go ahead and I'll leave a link down below as to where you can find these. With that being said, let's take a closer look at the box and then a closer look at the figures. Alrighty guys, so starting off with the front of the packaging here, we got a beautiful window panel looking at both the figures, as well as the typical SAS Super Action statue across the top. The nice golden lettering going down the side vertically here for each of the figures with their respective names, as well as Steel Ball Run, letting you know that this is from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 Steel Ball Run. On the side, you get a nice panel shot of both of the characters in all their glory. On the back, you get a nice shot as well of both of the characters. It's kind of like almost a collage of all the different poses you can put them in, as well as their accessories on the bottom. And as I always say, look out for those golden tags there so you know you're getting an authentic Medico's product. Flipping it around, you can just see it's the characters' names again, as well as Super Action statue. And on the bottom, just some boring warnings and I guess copyright stuff. But that just about wraps up the packaging. Alrighty guys, so taking a closer look at Funny Valentine here, this is what you're greeted with as soon as you open the box. A nice black tray with the clamshell there, keeping all the hands and accessories and alternate heads. And then beneath that, you have a second layer, which includes the manual, as well as my favorite, the figure stand that is included in every single Medico's figure. So I love that. Alright guys, so here he is. As you can see, he's in his plastic protective wrap there just to make sure that there's no paint scuffs. But my goodness, I will say I definitely prefer this suit compared to the original release, having it side by side. I just like this pink suit. However, the caveat is you're given this gray head. So I personally like the blonde a lot more than the gray. I mean, just taking a closer look here, although it is very nice and super well detailed, I think one of the most striking things about Funny Valentine and his character design is his blonde hair. So this kind of takes that away by giving it gray, but granted, it is a color alternate, so it is expected. But before we take a closer look at this, let's take a closer look at the accessories. Alrighty, so the first accessory that comes here is this alternate head for Funny Valentine, where it's just him screaming. I will say the hair looks gorgeous. I love how they did the shading there to showcase the individual strands. And they really did a great job sculpting the curls and just that iconic curly long hair look that Funny Valentine has. So I really do like that. Just a closer look there at the face. I think it looks gorgeous. And the eyes and pupils and lining looks very well detailed, even with some sculpt work in the eyebrows. That's just amazing. Love that level of detail. Then the next item is actually this revolver here, which as you can see, it kind of has an aluminum finish there with almost a hue of gold on there. Even on the handle there, they did this nice dark wood brown finish with the bolts there painted silver real nice. And then just to put the icing on the cake, just to kind of rub it in her face, how Medico's loves to, do their sculpt work and details, you can actually twist and move the chamber of the gun. That's insane. Now, in addition to this, there's also this shooting effect. So at the end of this plastic ball here, you can see there's a little plastic nub, which goes perfectly into that peg hole there at the end of the barrel. You just plug it in just like that, and there you go. You got a nice shooting effect to go with your revolver. Moving on to the hands now. The first set of hands you have are just these basic lying hands, just kind of resting there, as you can see. So that's pretty nice. And I will say the details on the gloves look gorgeous. The kind of flat, smooth finish here, transitioning to the crisscross raised almost webbing finish. Kind of reminds me of Spider-Man. It looks so good. Then you also have these two hands here kind of grabbing here. I'm assuming this is for the gun we just showcased earlier. At least this one is right here. You can kind of plug it in, and I guess it allows him to hold the gun. So that's cool. And then you have this almost open hand here as if he's reaching out for something. And then this hand here, which I also think that this is dedicated for the gun. It looks almost like it was specifically molded to hold the gun or something like that. But that's pretty cool. So those are all the hands. Alrighty, and here is Funny Valentine himself, the star of the show. So starting off with the sculpt and paint job here. Spectacular as always. With the head, it looks fantastic. I think that they did a great job on this stern face here. Love the look of that. Transitioning to the back, as mentioned with the screaming head, a fantastic job of capturing the curls. Now, he can look down pretty good, but looking up is almost non-existent because his long hair blocks that. As for the articulation, we have a ball joint here on the neck, and I believe it does have... Actually, oh my goodness, look at that, bro. Medicos finally got rid of the pinholes. I would always criticize Medicos for having those very obvious pinholes on the side, but it seems like they have gotten rid of it, so it's about time, so that's nice. And it's also very easy to remove the head, which I like as well. There's not really any struggle with that whatsoever. Moving on to the arms, you don't have any bicep swivel. However, there is a good range of articulation here with the ball joint. I am a big fan of how much you can move it. I like that you can actually put his hands almost back and make him do almost like a full spread there. So that is nice. Now, you do kind of make up slightly for the non-existent bicep swivel because there is a swivel here at the elbow. So I guess that could serve as your bicep swivel. But again, just why not put it right here? I think it would go nice with the seam there and his clothes. But anyways, there's the double joint here as well as another swivel slightly at the forearm. A ball joint at the wrist. And you can also pop out the hands just like that to swap them out. On the torso, you have a ball joint here that allows pretty much a 360-degree range of articulation here at the abdomen, as well as a ball joint here at the waist. It is actually surprisingly not that hindered, considering he has this long trench coat. As for the trench coat itself, if you look at the back, you can see that there's two ball joints here that allow you to pick it up. Dang, bro. He's caked up. Anyways, yeah, moving on to the legs, you have a ball joint as well as a swivel at the thigh, a double hinge knee, a ball joint on the ankle, and a swivel at the toe. And you can pretty much go up this much. That pretty much wraps up the articulation. As for the paint apps, you can see that this is a very nice, almost pink purple finish. There's shading throughout the entire figure, throughout almost the skirt and the shadings with the wrinkles, as well as just the lines there. Even there on the bottom, they do have almost like a metallic finish there for the undershirt. It's like a shiny silver or shiny white. And they also have that there for the ruffles there on the wrist. Knee pads are also this very vibrant, deep midnight purple. But overall, I think that this is a gorgeous look for Funny Valentine. So very, very nice. I think they captured the character's likeness a lot.
Alright, so changing gears, now we're going to take a look at Funny Valentine stand D4C, or better known as Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap.
Dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Once removing him out of the packaging, you're met with the same typical black tray as well as the plastic clamshell holding all the hand accessories. Under that, you're also met with the stand and additional accessories here, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment. And you also have a manual, which I didn't really showcase with Funny Valentine, but it's just a boring manual that's basically all in Japanese. So unless you read Japanese, you can just kind of toss that out. Alrighty, guys, removing him from his plastic prison here. Ooh, here he is. And man, can I say D4C is easily one of the most striking and unique stands in my collection. I think the design for D4C is so cool. His bunny rabbit ears are so tall. I have to put this in 0.5 for it to capture all on camera. But I will say for this being a color variant, I think that they still did a great job of capturing this. I would say the biggest difference in this and the original is obviously the shoulder pads here. It's not that iconic pink pastel color. Just having it side by side, you can kind of see some of the differences. However, I think that this
more so than the Funny Valentine, is a great stand-in. It's a lot cheaper, or rather a lot more affordable than the original release, and I still think it does a great job of honoring D4C's original look. But before we take a closer look at that, let's look at the accessories.
Alrighty guys, so for the first accessory here, we have an alternate head. This is simply just like this original head here, the only difference being that the ears are bent forward, so that is pretty cool. Then we also have this alternative back piece, so if you want to go ahead and swap out this back piece, you can change it for this one with this text here on the back, or I guess texture on the back, so boom, just like that. But that just about wraps up all the accessories that aren't hands. Moving on to the hands, the first pair of hands we got going on are just these relaxed normal hands here. And as you can see, they also include this beautiful kind of shiny teal blue finish with the white fading, and also the knuckles are all painted, and they also include the X's. So I think, again, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Love that level of attention to detail, even with the hand accessories. Then we have these grabbing hands here. And last but not least, we have this one almost like he's handing something to you right there, as well as this one where he's reaching out with his fingers spread out. But that just about wraps up all the accessories. So let's take a closer look at the figure. All right, guys, so here he is. Starting off with the articulation, we have a ball joint here at the neck. It's a little bit hindered, but it is there. Again, no pinholes. We love that. Please keep doing that, medicos. We also have a ball joint here at the neck, which honestly makes up for the stiff ball joint here at the actual head. As for the articulation, we have a ball joint here, and there's no, butterfly, which is expected given that you can swap out the back piece. But it does kind of hinder it a bit. There is no bicep swivel. Wow, I was completely expecting for there to be a bicep swivel. That's disappointing. I really thought there'd be one. There is a swivel here at the forearm, as well as somewhat of a swivel at the bicep. Not really at all. And when I say bicep, I mean here at the elbow. Then we have a ball joint here as normal, as well as a hand that you can just pop out and swap with the others. We have a ball joint here at the abdomen, as well as a ball joint at the waist. You also do have this like kind of underwear piece here, which again, dang, bro. Anyways, it is a little loose, so you can kind of see it's not really that big of a deal, but when you're moving it around, I think they did that on purpose to maybe prevent paint scuffs or rubbing, and also prevent it from hindering articulation. So that's fine with me. You have a ball joint here at the hip, as well as a swivel at the thigh, which is really tight, so that's not really existent. You have a double hinge knee, a ball joint at the ankle, and a toe swivel. So that's basically all the articulation. As for the paint job, 10 out of 10. I'm going to tell you right now, gorgeous. I love how they did this like metallic hue here throughout the figure on top of the shading. So as you can see, kind of at the chest here, at the abdomen here, on the thighs, you can see the shading all throughout, while they still maintain that glossy, shiny finish, which I love. I think that the hearts here running down the arms and legs looks gorgeous. I really like the blue they used here for the shoes. I really like that shiny metallic blue. It's like a royal blue, very eye-catching. Then the shin guards here are also finished with this very nice pearly white finish, as well as the X's found throughout the figure. And then the head, which I think is what takes the cake. It looks so good, even with his eyes there. They were sure to kind of detail all the little striations within each eye and the pupils, as well as the pink pattern that looks like hearts running up the ears and down their back. So I think they did a fantastic job with the paint job on this figure, and it is huge. Next to Funny Valentine, you can see he towers over him, and that's mainly because of these giant rabbit ears here. But I think they did a great job of capturing the accuracy of the lengthy, long stature of this stand, and I think it looks great with Funny Valentine. All right, guys, but now that we've taken a look at D4C and Funny Valentine, let's move on to what everyone's been waiting for, the figure updates and the things that you can do to make both these figures look better and take them to the next level on your display. All right, guys, so the first update that you can make to these figures that will easily take it to the next level is none other than simply getting one of these little American flags here. But you can find these at like Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure this is like the size of an index, like maybe, I don't know, 3 by 4 inches. But dude, you just set that right there on a stand behind these and look how good that looks. I think that looks great. It easily takes this to the next freaking level. I mean, look how good that is. So for like literally $2 more, you can take this to the next level. Now, if you're wondering how I kept it in this curved waving pose, all I did was I got 2 paper clips and I just taped it along the back there, and I made sure to put it behind the red stripe so you couldn't see it through. And boom, look at that. It holds it perfectly in shape without it being droopy or stuff like that. So if I'd like, I can bend it and kind of twist it and put it in the exact pose I want. But I like it like this because I want it to wrap around them. So there you go. That's the first update. So setting that there. The second, very easy. Well, I'm not going to say very easy, but if you can do it, it looks great. Get yourself a funny Valentine head. Now, huge shout out to my boy Powerblxck with an X. Here's a screenshot of his Macari storefront. I'll also put a link in the description below. He hooked me up with his head. He sells multiple stuff. SH Figure Arts for Dragon Ball Z, Medicos, One Piece, all the stuff. So check him out if you're interested in any and everything anime. Figures and stuff like that. But he hooked me up with this blonde head here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is just we're going to pop it out of the Ziploc bag it came in. And we're simply just going to pop this head off. And then just pop, boom, this head on. And you guys can kind of already begin to see the vision here. And holy crap. Look at that. And look how great this body looks with a blonde Funny Valentine. Now you guys see why I prefer this over the white original release body. Well, there you have it, guys. That is our full review for the Medicos Funny Valentine and D4C. So in typical Zero Reviews fashion, the rating that I'm going to give to these figures is a very strong 8 out of 10. The first deduction is simply going to be just the limited articulation. I was pretty disappointed that D4C didn't come with a bicep swivel, because they very easily could have incorporated one and it would make posing it that much easier. And the second thing is simply just that, granted that these are color alternates, they are still pretty hard to find. And the price, although better, is still pretty tax. So you're paying a premium price for something that's a color variant. Now, if you can find workarounds like me to get the blonde head and stuff, sure, shoot it. I still think it's a great alternative to the originals, but I just have to factor that into the rating with the price being so high. So other than the price and the articulation, I still think that these figures are fantastic, and I will recommend getting them in a heartbeat, especially if you're a Steel Ball Run fan, and especially if you're hyped for the new Steel Ball Run season coming out. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.